William Lane Craig is Aaron Cortez's favourite apologist. Well, he has to be someone's. Now, before we even get into the stupid stuff Aaron says, I had a look through the comments under his video and they are better than the video itself. Genuinely, one person asked, "Is this satire?" Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims, and then I explain why I don't accept what they're saying. Why, oh why do folks love Billy Street Craig so much? The man is almost as bad as Jordan Peterson. Also, the video Aaron is reacting to is bloody old, probably made before Aaron was even born. Find some newer material, Aaron. But why am I surprised? These folks believe in an ancient book, so an ancient video is going to be equally as convincing to them, right? And this video is called Atheism Fails. However, before finding out exactly how atheism fails, if this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe and the bell, and maybe the algorithm will stop failing. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks in some recent videos. Mikael Lundgren. And a big thank you to channel members who get to use Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe and more hen emojis. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you all. More hen. Whose Harvard sweatshirt did Aaron steal?
Today we're going to be reacting to my favorite Christian apologist, William Lane Craig, and his debate with an atheist. Let's go ahead and watch this.
I'm going to apologise now for vid-ception. A reaction to a reaction is worse than the reaction I give just when I hear the name William Lane Craig. Blah.
Taken together with a reason why people believe, desperate to believe, together with the fact that you don't need actually a God, in a sense amounts to an argument against the existence of God.
Well, I guess I don't see that. I mean, why doesn't that commit the genetic fallacy of trying to say that by explaining how a belief originates, you thereby show the belief to be false? Even if it were true that belief in the existence of God were the product of fear and anxiety and so forth, which I don't for a minute admit, but even if it were, that's simply a genetic fallacy to say that because that's the way the belief originates, that therefore the belief is false.
This comment here handles this. It's not a deductive argument, it's an abductive one. If I can show that an idea is born out of fear and anxiety, it decreases the probability that it's true. That's not the genetic fallacy. WLC is doing some fine dodge work.
But that's only one half of the argument. I'm not saying that that alone is adequate, and I'm not saying that the fact that science can account for everything, it alone is also adequate. But taken together, the fact that science is omnipotent, and the fact that I can understand why people like you desperately want to believe in God. That is an argument against the existence of God.
But two fallacious arguments put together don't make a sound argument, right?
And William Lane Craig and proof of God also don't go together.
I also reject, before Dr. William Lane Craig continues, I reject the notion that science is omnipotent.
Right, science isn't omnipotent. Goodness knows what the host of the video was on about there. But historical facts are established through evidence-based methodology. Documents, records, archaeology, it's all just right there.
I love how Cliff Nettle puts it. He says, how do you go on a scientific date? How do you scientifically marry someone under the foundation of love? How do you scientifically prove that George Washington was the first president of the United States of America? There are a lot of things that science cannot prove because science is the art of repeated process. So it's so interesting to see how atheists would revere science so much that would I dare say that science becomes their God?
Science is definitely not the god of atheism. That's a loaded terminology attempting to make a false equivalence. Atheists don't worship science. In fact, atheists, under the banner of atheism, don't care about science. Scientists use a method that's repeatedly demonstrated to work. Atheists just tend to accept that because, it's demonstrable.
And this is also, I love how Dr. Craig puts it. Atheists, a lot of them, will say, well, the reason why you believe in Christianity is because I was born in the Philippines. Or maybe you were born in a Judeo-Christian country. if you were born in India or if you were born in Saudi Arabia, then you would believe in Hinduism, you would believe in Islam. But to the point of Dr. Craig, the origin or the epistemology of a belief does not negate the validity of the belief. That's like saying you were born in the United States, but if you were born in China, you wouldn't believe that you were born in the United States. That may be true, the belief notion, but that doesn't negate the fact that you were born in the United States. Hopefully that makes sense.
The point isn't where you were born determines facts about geography. The point is you accept faith-based arguments for Christianity that you'd reject instantly if a Muslim or a Hindu used the exact same reasoning for their religion. But isn't it lucky that you just so happened to be born in the place that did have the correct religion?
But do you deny that science cannot account for everything?
Yes, I do deny that science...
So what can't it account for?
Well, had you brought that up in the debate, I had a number of examples that I was going to give. I think there are a good number of things that cannot be scientifically proven, but that we're all rational to accept. Let me list 5.
Oh, 5 things science apparently can't explain.
Logical and mathematical truths cannot be proven by science. Science presupposes logic and math, so that to try to prove them by science would be arguing in a circle.
If anyone mentions a circle around here, it's me, okay?
Metaphysical truths, like there are other minds other than my own, or that the external world is real, or that the past was not created 5 minutes ago with an appearance of age, are rational beliefs that cannot be scientifically proven.
But how does that get you to Yahweh?
Ethical beliefs about statements of value are not accessible by the scientific method. You can't show by science whether the Nazi scientists in the camps did anything evil as opposed to the scientists in Western democracies.
Right. Science describes. It doesn't moralize on its own.
Aesthetic judgments, number 4, cannot be accessed by the scientific method because the beautiful, like the good, cannot be scientifically proven.
Actually, I disagree. Chemical reactions can be measured and certain pleasing aesthetics can cause things that you can observe. And yeah, maybe it's subjective, but still, a subjective opinion could technically be documented.
And finally, most remarkably, would be science itself. Science cannot be justified by the scientific method. Science is permeated with unprovable assumptions. For example, in the special theory of relativity, the whole theory hinges on the assumption that the speed of light is constant in a one-way direction between any 2 points A and B. But that strictly cannot be proven.
Another comment rocked the socks off of this one. The scientific method fully acknowledges it's provisionally assuming the speed of light is constant. Induction isn't treated as deduction because induction is provisional. Right. Science doesn't claim certainty. It claims the best supported understanding given the evidence. And it could still be demonstrated to be wrong with yet more testing. The whole point of science is getting the best understanding by trying to prove itself wrong.
We simply have to assume that in order to hold to the theory.
But you're missing the whole...
So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, all right, okay. Yeah.
So we are... none of these beliefs can be scientifically proven, and yet they are accepted by...
All atheists, basically, is what Dr. Craig is going to say. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That comment wasn't necessary, but I'm glad it was there, and I'm glad it was said.
I think turn that into a feather duster and go and start a fight with it would be more accurate.
So, go ahead and comment down below your favorite theistic argument or your favorite argument for a god or a deity or a creator. Mine happens to be the teleological argument, or the argument of a designer, because we are so fine-tuned, or the fine-tuned argument is also another name for the teleological argument.
Oh, the fine-tuning argument.
Coming from I believe the Greek word teleos, which means design. So I love it because if we were rotated just a slight bit, or if our axis tilted just a slight bit, we would cease to exist. If we were at a ratio more hydrogen than we are oxygen, other than we are now in terms of the ratio on Earth between hydrogen and oxygen, we would cease to exist. If the Earth was just a few feet away from where it is currently located in relation to the sun, we would cease to exist.
A few feet? You're kidding, right? The Earth's orbit varies by roughly, 150,000 kilometres a year, and the axis shifts about 10 metres a century. Here's a good comment. Stop watching William Lane Craig and start reading up on the plentiful and well-documented rebuttals to common theistic arguments. You, commenter, nailed it.
The whole pinnacle and the whole idea and the very essence of life is so fine-tuned that it necessitates a creator.
We all know the puddle analogy. A puddle wakes up, looks at the hole it's sitting in and thinks, this fits me perfectly, it must have been made for me. Right up until the sun comes out and the puddle evaporates, pulling its wet, drying out corpse into the atmosphere, still convinced the hole was built for it, but writhing in agony as it leaves its concrete prison. We didn't get fine-tuned for the universe. We evolved to fit the conditions that already existed. Fish don't say the water was made for them.
That just happens to be mine. Other people will say free will. Other people might say the whole idea that nothing cannot come from nothing, therefore something has to come, or nothing has to come from something. I don't necessarily know which name that kind of argument is entitled with, but mine happens to be the teleological argument. Go ahead and comment it down below.
He doesn't know the name of the second argument he just summarised, but he's confident William Lane Craig is correct about it, all because he loves him. Sorry, but
no one cares!
But that's it for this video. Dr. William Craig is in fact correct. Science cannot explain reason or logic because science presupposes that logic and reason exist, and in order for you to debate whether or not there is reason using the scientific method is going to get you in a circular loophole.
Stop saying circular around me. I find it offensive. Be careful, or I'll set Lisa the rainbow giraffe leafy upon her into your garden to destroy your plant life. That'll teach you.
Ethics cannot be explained by science. Science cannot be explained by science because it presupposes the idea that light is constant. We cannot prove that it will never change. We can only assume that it is constant, and therefore we have an equation to calculate it. So I love William Dr. Lane Craig and his style of Christian apologetic, but maybe you have a different favorite for Christian apologetics. Mine happens to be William Dr. Lane Craig, but when it comes to debates, nobody can ever stomp out the one and only, the late brother Eli Soriano.
It turns out I summarised Aaron's video better than Aaron did summarising someone else's debate. 5 things science apparently can't prove, and a fine-tuning argument so thoroughly destroyed by Douglas Adams in 2002 that I'm honestly just impressed it's still being used. But then maybe WLC's video was made way before 2002. His hair was brown still. Atheism fails because science presupposes logic, because the Earth is fine-tuned despite moving millions of kilometres a year, and because William Lane Craig said so, that's good enough. Here's the thing though, the best rebuttals in this entire video came from Aaron's own comment section, from people who actually watched it and then immediately spotted the holes. Well done, well played, good on ya. Did this video convince you atheism fails? Let me know in the section below. I'm going to skeptic this as a video that got out-argued by its own audience. A big thank you to this month's top level ticks on Patreon. Ron, Elizabeth, Jakari, William, Rick, George, Mark, Tamo and Mikael Lundgren, as well as all the $3 base ticks and channel members. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials, or become a member by hitting the join button below this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.